Wants to Smile, written by Vinita Ramachandran, illustrated by K.R. Raji. Sethu first ate up all the mangoes. He knew that his cousins Shija and Sumi had patiently collected the mangoes from the trees without his help and had hidden them from him in the attic. He waited till they did all the work carefully, the wiping of the mangoes, the stacking of them neatly in rows, the counting, the division. Then when they left, giggling as they hugged the secret to themselves, rustling their long cotton skirts with their dusty feet, he emerged from his hideout into the attic and ate the mangoes. At least he ate whatever he could. The rest he bit into, spat the sour chunks of mangoes aside, and let them be scattered around the attic. Before leaving the mango debris, he turned around, grinned at the wreckage, and imagined the look on their faces when they returned to their hidden loot. I must hide again, he thought. The look on their faces would be priceless. This done, Sethu swung down the attic. He had stopped taking the stairs a long time ago. It was past his time to go to school. He had straggled the murky pond at the village end, casting his line for fish, and had came back late too late, to be sent to school once again. He saw his mother's sad face in the kitchen. She had not said anything other than looking sadly at him. It only made him angrier with her. When his father passed away suddenly, Amma had sold the small farm they happily lived in and had come back to live in the home of her prosperous brother. The farm had to be sold as the list of the debtors was long. Sethu wept when they left their home forever. He loved the smell of his home. He loved the dark, cool corners that he had played in. He loved the old wooden banister that he rode. He loved coming home from school to meet all the animals in his farm. He had named each one of them and would spend long hours with his father as he worked. The farm was small. His mother worked in the kitchen and then in the farm with his father as he worked. The farm was small. They were happy, growing tapioca and pepper. The farm animals looked after the daily needs of the home. Fresh farm eggs, milk, butter, rice and herbs were always there. They would sit by the fading light and would have their dinner, kanni and tasty uperi every night, with their incessant sound of the crickets. The memories of the smell of burnt wood in their smoky kitchen would make Sethu's eyes prick with tears. Sethu tiptoed through the back door. Poochakutti, the cat, was laying in the sun, and he slid his feet under her belly and lifted her clean off the ground. Then he kicked his feet up in the air, letting the cat fall nimbly back on her feet. She snarled at him, arched her back and fled with a yowl as he hurdled a pot full of water that he found nearby at her. The animal, it was oblivious, had not forgotten memories of him trying to burn her tail, and he glared at him from atop the wall in sheer hatred. Sethu sped on. He skirted the outskirts of the house. He also had to avoid meeting Ammai. Yesterday afternoon, he had been busy spraying the clothes with pesticide. When he found himself staring at her watery eyes, her diamond nose ring glinting in the sun, he let the pesticide can drop from her hands and had run away. He knew she would tell Amma. Let her, he thought with a scowl. Who cares? What will they do anyway? Throw me out? Let them. If they won't, I will probably run away anyway. Ammavan's big house was built right in front of his vast 100-acre property. He had coconut groves and grew pepper and cashew that were exported. He had an oil mill and a packaging farm, and the workers that came into the Paramba were numerous. It was easy to get lost. Sethu would disappear for long hours. His mother gave up waiting for him to have his lunch. He avoided meeting her eyes, and when he did look up, he looked her eyes that were full of hatred. He returned late in the evening when he knew that his uncle and the rest of the house had their dinner. Then he would sit alone in the kitchen while his mother served him and would eat without exchanging a word with her. Ammakutti, Sethu's mother, remembered the happy days she spent in her home with her son and husband. When Sethu's father borrowed a huge sum of money against the farm to build a canal in the farm for water, little did they think that they would have to pay heavily for it. When her husband died and the interest on the loan began to mount, she consulted her brother and sold the property. She took refuge in his home. She helped in the kitchen, and in return all she had asked her brother for was for him to bring up Sethu. The more his son grew bell-ringed and ill-mannered, the more she was convinced that he needed a father figure around him. He was 9 years old and was growing up quickly. Sethu walked past the coconut grove. Beyond it, in another acre, fresh coconut saplings were planted in a shallow pit with slushy water. Sethu walked easily, not looking at the familiar path. He knew the place from childhood. He used to travel from his home to his uncle's place on school holidays once a year. He was slightly older than Shrija and Sumi, and the three of them played till late in the evening. The elders, talking and laughing together, would hardly holler for them until sundown. He used to look forward to coming here. Now he hated the place. He moved past the mango trees. Suddenly he stopped, sitting atop the tree, sinking her teeth into a mango. Was a young girl. He looked at her in wonder. She was swinging her legs nonchalantly. Then, without glancing at him, she said, "What are you looking at? Haven't seen a girl before?" Sethu decided that anyone with such an impertinence was ignorable. He walked past her. "That was a beautiful scowl. Can you show that again?" she asked out. He turned back as if shot and scowled back furiously, then made a face. They both started laughing simultaneously. They laughed for quite some time. She kept imitating him from atop the tree, and both would laugh. Finally, wiping her tears, she jumped down the tree nimbly. Sethu looked at her with a smile on his face. "I haven't laughed for so long," he confessed. "Who are you?" "Oh, I come here all the time. Haven't you seen me?" she said. "I have seen you lots of time by the pond, slinking to the canal, playing with your cousins. Then, after a pause, being nasty to the cat, pouring water on Amma's drying coconut canals, spitting on the freshly washed drying clothes." Sethu turned red. "And how don't you let the hens lay eggs? How you chase them every time they sit, and how Alyama doesn't understand why the hens aren't laying eggs. And of course the mangoes. Who has been talking to you?" said Sethu sulkily. "Oh, you are doing it again," hooted the girl. Sethu looked at her in alarm. Do it again," she said pleadingly. "Make that funny face again." And Sethu found himself forgetting his anger in front of her infectious laughter. "You know," she said in a conspirational whisper, "you must try this out. Whenever you feel sad or angry, you must smile. Will you do that? Try it for a day and tell me what happens." Sethu stared at her. Then she ran away saying, "I must go. See you tomorrow." Sethu trudged back. He had forgotten where he was heading before he met the girl. "I didn't even ask her name," he thought glumly. "But how did she know all the things I have been doing? She does not belong to the house. I have never seen her. And anyway, I did all those things when I was sure nobody was around." Thus preoccupied, Sethu found himself walking back to the house. "What? Not gone to school today again, you stupid fool?" Sethu found himself suddenly collared by his uncle. In his pensive state, he had not bothered to sling around as usual and had needlessly walking to his uncle. Sethu stared into his uncle's bulging eyes and his frowning bushy eyebrows and stared to put on his most belligerent face when he decided to smile. Sethu smiled and Krishnan Nambiar was startled. Sethu kept looking into his uncle's angry eyes and his smile almost wilted. Just as he smiled into his uncle's angry eyes and his smile almost wilted. Just as his smile was beginning to turn into a leer, his uncle suddenly let him off and hurried away. He knows, thought Krishnan Nambiar. Oh my God, he knows. How does he know? His throat felt parched suddenly. He thought of Sethu's guileless eyes and smile. He was deafing me, challenging me to say something, he told himself. Oh God! He hurried inside his room and shut the door. Sethu felt limp as a rag. He thought his uncle was about to slap him. Slowly, he shook himself. It worked. Smiling actually worked. He thought jubilantly, I'm going to try this out again today. He walked towards the outhouse when he knew Ammai would be there. That's where the household provisions for the month were kept. Ammai would be there with 2 servants cleaning, bagging and stacking tamarind, rice, coconuts and her other precious products. He peeped into the outhouse and watched her. She seemed to be tying a variety of things into a tight stack with a coiled rope. Sethu watched her for some time, summoning courage to walk up to her and smile. He remembered her cold gaze when he was reprimanded and cuffed by his uncle in front of the servants and his niece for spraying the clothes with pesticides. When he walked in, his aunt almost leaped a few inches. And when he beamed at her, she seemed slightly unsteady on her feet. Oh my God, he knows, she thought to herself. Now he will tell this to his silly mother and she will prattle it all to her precious brother. What am I going to do? Sethu gazed at her and kept smiling. Suddenly his aunt lunged at him and Sethu would have run away, only he realized that his aunt was attempting to hug him. You won't tell anyone? Will you, my jaggery lump? She was whispering in his eyes. My poor mother needs these things, so I send it to her every month. Just a little this and that, hardly a pinch on this farm. And uncle loves to do charity. He says that secret of this farm success is in the charity we do for others. Yes, this is the secret of the farm success. Sethu had no idea what she was talking about, so he did only think that he knew to save his life. He kept smiling. It was the beginning to get uncomfortable. Looking at him in growing alarm, his aunt blurted out in a hurry. What is the other day? I was thinking that I must stitch you a few shirts and pants. The one you have are getting small for you. Then she added in a hurry, I promise to buy you clothes every month. In return, you will keep our little secret, won't you? You are a good boy, I told your uncle so the other day. As soon as he could escape from her clutches, Sethu fled. His head was reeling. He could simply figure out that his aunt was blabbering about. I'm getting new shirts. He thought to himself. And all I did was a smile. I must go and meet Amma. I haven't smiled at her in ages. He was just about to cross the threshold when he bumped into his uncle again. Krishna Nambiar had managed to convince him that he was imagining Sethu knew his ugly secret. Of course, the brat did not. And just as he managed to calm his racing heart, he almost walked into the boy again. There were days when he did not see the boy at all. And here he was today, getting under his feet all the time. Nambiar was furious. He was going to holler at the boy robustly. The rascal, the good for nothing. Eta Sethu, he said with a mean tone. But before he could continue, Sethu smiled. Nambiar was beginning to dread that eerie smile. Sethu said with a beautiful smile, Ammavan, I know the secret of the farm. You do? Asked the pale uncle. Yes, said Sethu. Amma told me. Nambiar shuddered and tottered away. Sethu stopped wondering about the strange behavior of the relatives. He understood one thing. Smile opened the doors. The more Sethu smiled, he realized that he did not have to fake it. That was when he spied the cousin sitting on the corner of the veranda crying. Sethu had to stop. If he smiled at his cousins, had something nice to see in return, Sethu told him. Then that was the ultimate proof that the smiling was magical. So he walked up to them and he smiled. They cried louder when they saw him. Somebody ate your birthday present, wailed Sumi, the younger of the two. Birthday present? Yes, we had heard from your mother that it was your birthday next week and for the first time she had nothing to give you. So we decided to gift you a room full of mangoes, said Sumi. She just said, we woke up so early and we picked them so that we could surprise you and somebody ate them up. Now you won't have a birthday present, said Sumi, and your surprise is ruined. Then as if realizing that Sethu was smiling, really smiling, she said, he's smiling. I think he had gone mad. Sethu laughed loudly. He was really happy. I have a secret, but I'll tell you later. First, let me meet my mother and don't worry about the mangoes. I eat them. Had Sethu looked back, he would have realized that the magic of his smile was not working. For now, his cousins were stamping their feet in rage. The kitchen was empty. It was late afternoon and though the cooking was done some time ago, the heart was smoldering. Puzzled, he went looking for Rama. Maybe she was taking a nap in that tiny room, but Sethu was surprised to find that the room too was empty. He walked past his uncle's room and to his astonishment he found his mother sitting across her brother, looking at him with mixed expression of anger and bewilderment, a bunch of papers in her hand. His uncle spotted him and shifted uneasily on his feet. It was strange to see a man who was used to making others feel uncomfortable look so uncomfortable. His uncle hurried up to him. You take care of your mother, Ammavan was saying to him. Take care of each other. Then turning to her sister, Ammavan said hurriedly, I meant to tell you eventually. Believe me that I thought it best that you did not know. But then Sethu and he was gone. Amma gripped Sethu tightly. Sethu smiled, a real happy one. Why you are smiling, said Amma. I have missed that for so long. Then hugging Sethu, she said, I don't know what you did, but your Ammavan has told me a very strange thing. She paused, and with a distant look in her eye, she continued. But first tell me, if you had one wish, what would you want? I want to be back in the farm, our farm, with Appa and you. Appa is always with you, said his mother, thrusting the papers in his hand, her face shining a strange light. And here, take your farm. Sethu couldn't believe his luck. The farm? We are going back? You really mean it? He asked in wonder and disbelief. When we were in trouble, your father asked Ammavan for help, but he had refused, saying that he was in debt himself. Then Appa died and the farm was up for sale. Do you know who bought it? Your Ammavan, believe it. He betrayed us like this. He never had any money problems. He bought it up secretly. Would you believe it? He mentioned something about you getting to know his secret. When did you know it? What did you do? His mother asked. Nothing, replied Sethu in all honesty. I just smiled. Sethu never did find the girl on the tree. But in Chenamangalam, where Sethu and his mother shifted back, it's known that Sethu Krishnan was the most cheerful boy in the village. He smiled when he went to school, and he smiled when he helped his mother at work. And he told all the grown-ups that he knew the secret to good luck. It was to smile, and they all laughed as it was a big joke. But then that's the thing about grown-ups. They never really understand and sometimes they never know when to laugh. Thank you.